Look at them. I always take my hair down because it just looks a mess after a long day. Hey, y'all. Wait a minute. So we're sitting up here and we were talking about how you build a business, whether it's Conjure or whether it's anything else. And so we're talking about different things, like how I came about building new products. And I was telling them about Speak to Me. One of my spiritual brothers had a client who wanted to communicate with their significant other better. So I made a loving communication oil. And when I smelled it, this was just a one-off. But when I smelled it, I'm like, oh, this is really pretty. Now, that's another thing. Not everything about root work is actually pretty, but it just so happens, and I don't be trying, that it's most of the stuff that I make, I love the way it smells, and other people do too. And I guess the real reason behind that is because it's got magical compliments to it. So we're sitting up here and we talk about Speak to Me. As I'm going to talk about y'all, I'm going to turn the camera around. No. Oh, yeah, they don't want me to turn the camera. They don't want to be filmed. Oh, I forgot. The bras have come off, y'all. We are in straight chill mode. So anyways, I don't give a damn. So anyway, so I'm talking to these fools. And so Tiffany says, oh, that's really nice. Can you make a powder out of it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to show you how to make sachet powders. And she was like, yeah, so, you can put it in the bed. And then Nikki G's ass was like, oh, and you can just go and blow it on somebody. I already see what type of students they're going to be. The ones like, oh, we're going to just sprinkle it in the bed. And then the other person like, oh, fuck, I'm going to blow it out or something like that. What did you do? You were doing a blow dart. Like you were shooting a death blow dart. What did you do? Show me you did this shit.
Pack it in.
Right.
Blow it right in their face and walk up on them like.
But I tell people that is a fantasy of mine. Somebody that I really can't fucking stand. I'll just go walk up on there, and it won't even be nothing. Probably it might just be some cornstarch or some rice flour. They don't know. I ain't gonna be Amber. Nikki said, hey. Amber said, hey. They're not gonna know what it is when you blow it on them. So yeah, you know what? But here's one way you can get folks. Okay, don't tell nobody you learned this one from me. If you do want to put powder on a person and they don't know, well, you ever like in a crowded room and somebody walks behind you and like they kind of put your hand on your back and say, oh, excuse me. That's how you do it. I've fixed a few people like that. You just, you walk, you've got it on your hand. People don't think about portions sometimes in Conjure. You don't need a whole lot. You can dust your entire hand with it, maybe a little bit cupped in your hand, and just kind of, that's why I tell folks to hug me. Because I don't know you like that. Because you could be hugging me and you could be rubbing all kinds of shit in my locks, on my back. So that's just one of those things that you need to know, that yes, you can actually fix people on the sly like that. I don't even like shaking people's hands, because I don't never know what kind of I don't know what kind of stuff people be on. But in any case, I'd rather give them some dap or, an elbow or, shoot them some love. Don't touch me, because I know how I think. And I know how, if I need to fix somebody, I can fix somebody. I mean, there's numerous ways to fix somebody. Right. Just like a blow dart, just badass. But the whole idea behind this type of work is that, after a little while, your magic should be so good that somebody should know something's being done to them. That it should be so good that at some point they know that work is being done on them. However, it should not be so easy for them to find in the beginning, because think about when you have a headache. Okay, white willow bark is an aspirin. When you take that aspirin initially, your head still hurts, right? It's going to take a little bit, in the case of Excedrin, some caffeine too, to make it work. So you don't really want someone to know whether it's good or whether it's a benevolent or malevolent magic. It doesn't matter. You don't want, think about that, because if somebody does something to me, what's the first thing I'm gonna do? If I find out somebody's working on me, what's the first thing I'm gonna do?
Freak out.
No, y'all act like
And then after that,
y'all all took root work 101. CPR. Cleanse, protect,
yeah.
reverse.
Right.
So if somebody's working on me and I find out immediately, I can cleanse myself pretty quickly and mitigate some of that. But if you've had something work on you, it's just like cancer. You get it early, you have stand a better chance of surviving it. But if it gets a little, works itself in a little bit, it's a little bit harder to get rid of. However, it is root work. So, you feel me when I gave the don't touch me? Yeah, somebody got all pissed off about it. I don't give a damn. But the thing is like when you're working on something, if somebody's working on you, you want it to get, if you're working on somebody, you want it to get a good roll on,
Right.
And then you want it to be so good that they know somebody's working on them, but you don't want to give them a heads up.
Okay.
You don't want to give anybody a heads up. Never ever. People talk too much. They just talk too much. Oh yeah, and I fixed that sign.
There's probably still jail.
I think that if I was to ever, which I rarely have had to do things to people, but if I ever have to do that, I'm not gonna get on Facebook and announce it.
Yeah.
You
I don't
know,
understand that.
I'm like, have a little decency, have a little privacy,
I don't understand what the purpose
and a
is
little
of getting out
pride.
there and telling everybody.
Because I think it's one of those things that when people, and we were talking about getting into spiritual work for the wrong reason. So for example, a lot of times people, especially when they watch white people who are practicing, and we talked about the reason, I've written about this before, it's not so much that, they're coming and stealing and better workers and all this other stuff. They have the ability to open a store, which has been basically all along with everything. Being able to have property, being able to open businesses of their own, be entrepreneurs, where now all of a sudden, now black folks done found out about it, now it's a college major.
Right.
Now they made it even more inaccessible. Who goes to college and majors in entrepreneurship? Dumb millennials. Okay? Entrepreneurs usually don't go to college.
We just do.
They just do. Or they go to college, but they learn other skills.
That's right.
With entrepreneur, you got to be born with something like that. It's just like any other gift. But it's like, that's what it seems like, because that was not the way we practiced. You went like Skeleton Key for all of its fantasy parts. There was some very real stuff in there. You went to the back of the laundromat and, or the bar or back to somebody's house and got what you needed in a shoebox. They didn't have no pretty labels. In fact, it wasn't labeled at all. You better remember what you had. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no labels, ain't no websites. I think it's so funny. And I'm amused, but at the same time, I understand when a client says to me, you can do a reading on the phone or you can do a reading online, because I like to do video conferences. I like the people to see me. And see that I'm not on no book, because I'm dealing the cards. I'm looking at them, and they're watching me do it. And I show them how I'm doing. I'm like, I ain't lying. You saw me pull these cards. Ain't no games. Ain't no show games here. But the idea that people don't realize that spirit can go anywhere. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Okay, so when I begin any reading, I'll call on that person's ancestors, spirits, saints, gods, deities, if they have a special prayer. And that's another thing. All you non-initiated folks talking about gods and goddesses, and even not even initiated, like people who call on Kali and other Hindu gods, they're not Hindu. They have no idea. The mantra for Kali is like hours or days long or something. And I'll ask clients, well, what's your mantra? What do you do when you want to connect to her when you're divining? And they have no clue.
Right.
Or, okay, I work with Oya. You do? Okay, well, what do you do with Oya? Because, see, I'm not Santeria or Lukumi or any of the Yoruba religion. I'm not an Orisha practitioner. And I know that there's a, completely different system for voodoo. And so, but I don't know their system. But so if you're working with a deity, you should know how to pray to it. You should know how to either invoke it or evoke it. You should be able to call on your deities that you work with, or you're not working with them. That's the thing. If you're working with a deity, You better know, if you have a relationship, let's think about that. People you have a relationship, you call them, right? People you have relationships, you'll call. You'll have conversations with those people. You will go out with those people. You will spend time with those people. You will know what those people like, what they dislike. That's a relationship. And so, if you say you have a relationship with a particular deity, especially in an initiatory religion, what you doing? What's that man say? Oh, baby, what you doing? Baby, what you doing? It never ceases to amaze me when people have readings. Hey, I still have a dimple. I just noticed that. I thought I got, like, my face had filled out. I'm like, oh, it's still here. Anyways, ADD. But it's like you're asking people, what's your deity? How do you pray? And it's like, because my thing is, I'm thinking, okay, you're getting a reading. You believe somewhat, I guess, in the psychic energy that gives the reader information and knowledge and stuff like that. But how are you tapping into yours? I just find that to be kind of strange, because if I was a person that wanted a reading from spirit, I would need to know when my spirits were present. And that's from having a relationship with them. You will know how, you will be able to discern from whether or not this is just something in your mind, or if this is actually a spirit talking to you. Why? Because you've had enough conversations with the spirit or spirits where they have been right. There are things that they have told you that you wouldn't have even known, and they've been right. And you get a special feeling. It's not tangible. You can't really talk about how it feels. Some people can. Certain things happen to them, like the walls close in, or the room goes black or whatever. Mine doesn't work like that. Mine is, I know, especially if it's something that I would never in my wildest dreams dream of saying, because it's just not me. When I get messages and I'm like, I wouldn't do that, but okay, I understand. That you went from talking in spirit, just like when you have friends and you call on the phone and you've talked to them so much, you know what their voices sound like. It's no different when you're dealing with deities. You got a shift. Oh, she's over here getting her hair braided. But okay, this thing wants to clown. I think I'm going to have to refresh my router. But I just thought that was so funny, because she blew that shit like it was a dart.
I'm trying to do it like this.
Right, trying to do it right. She's like, Me, I'm trying to walk up nicely and rub you on your back. This one's talking about throwing it in the bed, which is where we get putting baby powder in the bed from. People don't know that. It's like they forget everything, like, sachet powders. And so, just like anything, think about how, if you look from, when you move from voodoo or any of the Orisha traditions or anything with multiple spirits, multiple deities, even Greek, Roman, you have a number, Hindu, you have a number of deities, and you have a lot of different complicated practices. Right. But then when you get all the way down to the Christian church, you get Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and they don't even want to call them one. They want to say they're 3 in 1, and you don't understand that. And then once you get to the Protestants, the saints are all gone. So simplified on top of simplified on top of simplified. So that's how you go from a magical condition powder to baby powder. That's how far you get away, you know. It's the further you get away from the purpose of the deities and the different herbs and roots. Anything will do, right? Anything will do. Instead of having powder that actually serves a purpose, So like the peaceful home powder, the traditional recipe for that prevents nightmares. And my nieces, I send it home in piles. That's my last student, and I gotta go. We'll talk to y'all soon.